Hello, everyone. I am Sonia Nadina Haynes, and welcome again to another wonderful show with the Psychic.biz group. We are Rez and Aeson Knight here today. We're missing part of our group, but this is fine. It's summer, and summer is a time for just hanging out outside. So today we're going to talk about self-empowerment or personal empowerment. And I love that because we're really searching for that at this time on the planet. It's important for each of us to know who we are. And when you know who you are then empowered. You can't find empowerment by searching like a chicken scratching for worms in the ground. You have to find it within yourself. I am an intuitive tarot reader, emotional healer. I have one show on Blog Talk Radio called Change Your Mind, Shift Your Life, which is on Sunday afternoons at 12:30. And I'm just about to start off on the Psychic Coffee Shop with Psychic.biz as well, doing another show. I don't know what it's going to be called. I'm going to be guided, so pardon me. I fly by the seat of my pants. And if I turn around, you'll see all the holes and the steam coming off of it, because spirit drags me quite along quite a bit. So as I said, today's show is about personal empowerment. I'm going to turn you over to Aeson, and he can introduce himself, and we'll talk a bit about Psychic.biz, and then we'll dive right into, we'll dive right into the show. So Aeson, here you go.
Hi, I'm Aeson Knight. I actually currently host two shows. I'm doing the Psychic Coffee Shop, which is Wednesday nights on Blog Talk. It's on our main channel, the Psychic Coffee Shop, where you'll find a lot of our shows at. And then on Thursday nights at 11, I host Conversations with Aeson, where you, our listeners, become our co-host, and you guys can put in your input and ask psychic questions. I read tarot, I read angel cards, I'm a clairvoyant. I've been working in the business for about 19 years, and I tend to be very direct with things, especially when it comes to empowerment. It's like, okay, this is how you do it. We don't take a lot of long-winded stuff out of it. But I'm going to pass you over to our other host tonight, Miss Rez, and she has a few announcements, and let her introduce herself with us.
Well, hello. I'm so happy to be here with you guys tonight and with everybody watching and listening. Most people call me Rez, or if you like to say long words, you can use Rez Miranda. I'm very happy to be a new member of Psychic.biz, and you can find me there usually in the evenings. But the thing I'm also very excited about is today I finalized with Aeson that I will also have a show on Blog Talk Radio starting Friday evenings, this coming Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern, called Radio Tarot. And why is it called that? It's all about self-empowerment. Radio Tarot is about using the tarot, learning how to use the tarot along with your own mind power, and becoming the receiver and transmitter of divine and wonderful things. And like Sonia, I love how you put that. I too have many skid marks on my rear end from when this spirit and universe is dragging me, trying to get my attention too. But I know that the law of attraction works, and I know that it's become kind of a cliche, overused expression, I feel. But the important thing is we all have an amazing ability that most of us don't know how to use or are too afraid to use because of outside influences, because of the things that we think we're supposed to be afraid of and fear and worry about in society today and in the world today. And you don't have to feel like that. And that's what my show is going to be all about, is how to empower you. And that's what I'm here on this planet to do. So that's me.
Hey, well, welcome to the team, darling.
Thank
you. We're so glad to have you. So, Miss Sonia, since we're talking empowerment, I know you have a few books out to help with that.
Yes. My very first book, called The Power of Money, How You See Money is How You See Yourself. I look at it as the base chakra, your roots. And I have a picture here that I painted some time ago. I painted a universal tree and I painted a human in it. And basically, you are a tree. Every single person is a tree. And if you have no roots, the tree will not stay upright. That's huge. You need the roots to reach down to gain the sustenance, and the power of money is basically about that. And I traveled quite extensively. I was in Japan for 4 months, in Australia for 10 months. And what I found was between the people who were wealthy, because I hung out with some wealthy people, and the people who were doing all right for themselves, and the ones who were struggling, we all had the same mindset where money was concerned. So the people who are doing very well feel a great deal of guilt about doing so well. The ones who are struggling are they tend to give their work away because they figure that, if I give a little bit, maybe they'll give me more in return. And it's actually, there's a story in the Bible about the merchant who went away, and I'll say it quickly. He called 3 of his servants, and he gave one 10,000 talents, and he gave one 3,000 talents, and he gave one 1,000 talents. And he said, I'm going to give it to you in safekeeping. And he left. And the one with the 10,000 talents felt so guilty, he buried it. The other with the 3,000 talents saw the 10,000 talent guy bury his, so he buried his too. That's the person who's doing all right for themselves. And then the one with the 1,000 talent used it and made more of it. You see, everybody has the same viewpoint about money. We are trying to make money a bad thing, but without it, we cannot grow strong upwards. And I firmly believe that every single person on the planet needs to recognize that they deserve to have their basic needs met. And that's basically the roots. So that's the Power of Money book, and that's pretty much what that's all about. The second book is how to change your mind so you can create what you want, and it's called Design the Life You Want, How to Build a Dream Map. And then the third one, I have 4 books. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll speed up. So the one is called Oneness, and basically with that I channeled a bunch of information from Spirit about why we're here, why we struggle. When a baby comes to mama, say, where do babies come from? The baby isn't asking for the gory details. The baby wants to know, how did I come from nothing into physical world? So the baby is asking an esoteric question, but mama and daddy doesn't recognize that, right? They don't recognize it. So that's that particular book. And then the last one is Generating Happiness Through Positive Affirmation, and Aeson and I talked about that. So my purpose is to kind of be a light, and it's a no nonsense, gentle light. I think the light is no nonsense, when the lighthouse spins, to show you, to illuminate the things that you want to see. So whatever it is you need to see to shift your life, because your life story was already written. It was written, it was put down on energetic paper. And so here on the planet, all of us intuitives and healers, our jobs, that's I think why we're here, is to give you the opportunity to read your story, to read your roadmap. And each of us have the ability to see it and kind of shine the light on it so you can actually be illuminated to move towards your truth. So I didn't realize, I said I wrote 4 books, and then I realized, oh my gosh, that's a lot of books, and I'm still writing some more. But basically that's it. It's necessary to know who you are. And the most favorite thing in Alice in Wonderland was with the caterpillar sitting on the mushroom, smoking its hookah, and he said to Alice, who are you? And Alice says, I'm Alice. And he says, nah, that's not it. Love it. Love it. It's about who are you inside, and that's what I'm here to do. That's how you'll be empowered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, Ross, what about you? When you get a client there and you just understand that they've lost their power, how do you explain to them, or do you have a specific process that you use to get them to understand that they've got to take that power back? Um,
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying. I find that most people who come to me in what we're calling a lost state or a disempowered state, it comes down to finding out what they're afraid of. Are they afraid of moving forward? Are they afraid of being judged? Are they afraid of making the wrong choice? That's a big one, being afraid of making the wrong choice. How many times are we always asked, should I do this thing or that thing? Or what happens if I talk to this person and not that person? Well, what happens if you don't? The one thing you don't want to have, and we're all going to have some, but you always want to do your best, I think, and that's part of our job, is to help someone understand that one of the worst four-letter words, which has more than four letters, is regret. And we don't want to say that, we didn't try something just because we were afraid, or we didn't tell someone we loved them because we were afraid of being judged, or we didn't ever have the job or the career we really felt we were meant to do here or have here because we were afraid it was the wrong choice or afraid of what other people would think. So what I'd like to do is find out where you're stuck. And I use tarot to do that because symbols, pictures, and images are the language of spirit and the language of our subconscious. And we understand that, and spirit understands that, and the universe understands that. We have an expression, draw me a picture. I'm one of those people, draw me a picture, show me. So with the tarot, it can show you, where have I been? And it's not about saying, you're doing all these things wrong and you better straighten up and fly right or you're going to ruin your life. It's about showing you where you've been, but more important than that, where you have the potential to go. And so, okay, maybe you had a crappy childhood. Maybe you were abused. Maybe you had a bad marriage. All these bad things happened to you. Well, join the club. But let's talk about where you are right now and where you can go and what you can be and what you are. And I love what you were saying about money, Sonia, the energy of money, because it's all about how you feel about it. All about that. The universe doesn't care what you say, it cares what you think and what you believe and what you feel. Mm-hmm. So that's what we find out. Why are we stuck? Why are we afraid? We don't even realize the extent to which we allow outside influences to affect us and to define us. So let's just stop doing that right now. But that's what we're here to help you understand. So knock it off. That's what I do. That's what you can expect in a reading with me. So, just so you know.
See, I'm the same way, and with me, when I get those clients that are just totally, it's like they've given everything over to a relationship or a job, and their world has collapsed. With me, I have to start back at the basics. Tell me what's good about you.
Yep.
Tell me what you need. Tell me why you feel this way, why you can't do this, or why you can't do that. I often tell clients, can't, never done anything, so take it out of your vocabulary because it's a useless word.
Yes, sir.
And then often I have them make out, if I'm working with them hands on hands, sometimes I even give this on the networks, I have them make out literally a long grocery list of everything that says, I am after it. I am pretty, I am smart, I am this, I am a mother, I am a sister. And then I have them make it a list of everything that they need in their life and put on top of that, I will have. Right. And that is how I start rebuilding that empowerment with my clients, because it takes time. It takes work for you once you've lost your confidence, once you've given up your power, to take it back and to say, this is how, this is me, this is who I am. I don't fit into this box, that box, and that box, especially in today's world when we've got profiles everywhere.
Yeah. Usually fake. on that
Well,
ad.
some of them are fake, some of them are real. We've got
Yeah.
Facebook and Twitter, and if you look on those Facebooks and Twitters, everybody's world is happy, happy, grand, or it sucks, it
Mm-hmm.
sucks, but none of it's real.
Mm-hmm.
And people get involved with it. Well, my friend says she's having a great day, and my friend feels I'm going to have this and that, but it doesn't really pull itself together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's more so really who you are and not comparing yourself to this one and that one and this one and that one. And that's hard in the industry too.
Yeah.
All right. So we got
Another
Yeah.
thing I think we have trouble with is I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you,
Oh,
but
go ahead.
it's the time thing. We want it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't everything changing by next Thursday at 5 o'clock? Why isn't it? Why is everything? Why are all the things I want or all the things I need? Where's my happiness at anyway?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the box it's in? Where's the person it's in? Again, outside sources, but time. I think instant gratification. We've become so programmed to want and need things right now or yesterday, or we better hurry up or we'll miss it.
Yeah, but it's interesting because one of the things the most important thing is the seed, and there's an image. There's a black pearl in Australia that the woman told me how it came about, and basically it's a stunning pearl. I got one for my daughter, but this pearl grows in the ocean in such a way, but it actually has within it very noxious, stinky gas.
Huh.
And so when they get the pearl out, they have to drill a hole in it to release the gas, and it's absolutely awful. And regardless of whether you want to go back to your childhood or not, there was an original sin. I call it the original sin. There was one moment when you decided, after wanting to be an artist forever, there was one moment when you decided you don't want to do it anymore. And it's basically because your parent accidentally took the picture that you brought home of the two-headed chicken with 3 legs, put it on the counter, and put their coffee cup on top of it, and there's a stain on it. So when a parent does that, it tells the child that you're not good enough. What you do is not good enough. The parent doesn't have, most of the times our parents aren't aware that their behavior is affecting us adversely. But we own that. And so, going back and looking at what you took on, what you decided to own, I've got the sunset in my face, what you decided to own, and then to figure out which contract you made with yourself so that you can break a few contracts, because a lot of the contracts we made with ourselves are irrelevant when we become adults. When I grow up, nobody's going to treat me that way, we say to ourselves. And then we become adults, we forgot the contract we made, and we treat ourselves exactly that way. So it's a very interesting fine line, but once you see it, that's all that's required. Once you see it, it's gone. It's beautiful.
Right. Well, we actually have a watcher's question, and it says,
Yes.
do you think it would be more empowering to use "you deserve" or "you are"? So that when you're reading it to yourself, you're telling yourself you are. For me, I find it better to use "you are," because "you deserve" means that you're not getting what you deserve, or you're listing out the principles of it. But when you are, there's no room for the mind to question it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like if someone says you are the best reader ever, there's no questioning in their thoughts. Now, what about you guys? How do you find with language or with your wording how that affects your steps to re-empowering yourself? Riza?
Yeah.
I think I'm with you. You are, because if you say you deserve, that sets you up to resist. It sets you up to have to prove it to yourself, or to somebody else, or to society, or whatever. Think about when we were little kids. Again, I just love children because we were all one. We need to remember that we were kids. But how often when you played Let's Pretend, whatever it was you were pretending to be, you didn't say, do I deserve to be a princess? Do I deserve to be an astronaut? Do I deserve to pretend to be a fireman? You were a fireman. You were a princess. You were fantastic. You were a queen. You were a star. Everybody loved you. You know, you were all the wonderful things that you could think of to be in your mind and in your heart and in your little self. You even put on a costume, you know, to be that thing and to believe it, and you were, and it was fantastic, and there were no limits. And until Mom said, oh, it's time for dinner, you probably didn't stop, right? You didn't think about the time. You didn't think about, do I deserve it? You didn't think about what anybody else is going to think. But you are, and you revel in that. Yes. And you felt that, and it was real. So don't give yourself any room to resist. Absolutely say, I am wealthy. I am happy. I am joyful. And people say, but what if I'm not? But what if you were? What does it feel like when you are? There was a time, and you guys coach too, so you'll understand this part. There's a time in your life when that was true for you. Whether it's not true right now, there was a time in your life when you were joyful, or when you had everything you wanted, when everything was great, when you had the love, when you had whatever it is that you want, when you felt that feeling. There was another time in your life. Remember that. Call it up again. Bring it into your conscious self again and say, I am. So you are. Go for it.
Yes.
Okay. Sonia, what about when they're manifesting?
I think you talked about the I will and the I am, and I work with the chakras with people. Of course, base chakra is foundation, root chakra. The power chakra is the will, I will. And it's very interesting because when you say I will, the universe says yes, you will. When you say I am, the universe says yes, you are. So the I am is the creator, and I will is the force that causes that creation to manifest. So those two chakras, those two energies together are the two that empowers you to reach out and create, manifest, empower yourself to have what you want. When those two are locked in, it means that you love yourself enough to receive, to be the I am. It means that when you speak, your voice has a command of yourself. It means that you see yourself clearly. Because if you don't see yourself, it's hard to say I am. You know, like it's very hard to say I am such and such unless you can see the am that you are creating. And then from there, you walk straight, which of course talks about posture. So just using the I am, using the I will together, and as you know, as Rez says, there's no room for compromise. There's no room in there. When you say I am, who's going to challenge you? When you say I will, they may say, well, and you say, yeah, you could be right. However, I don't like buts. However, I take this path. I will do this. When a person says I will, it's a challenge to themselves that they, and it's interesting, it's not about the outside world when you say I will. When you say I will, it's about you in your challenge with yourself.
It's an agreement.
That's right. It's a contract that you make with yourself.
Mm-hmm. And you know, with manifesting in general, or like example, you're wanting a new car. In my system of using lists, it's I have. Mm-hmm. I have a great car that will run exactly the way I want it to, with a stereo that the neighbors complain about, with some spark plugs that strike. You'll want to get specific. It's kind of like if you're a picky eater and you go to a restaurant and you order a plate of food, you're going to tell them, I don't want to, you're going to say, I want spaghetti with meatballs and pasta sauce minus the garlic and no onions with extra mushrooms and extra peppers. That's the way you need to be with the universe, but you need to talk as if it's already there. Because the universe is going to reply back, yes, you have that car. Here it is. This is how you get that car. Um, and, you know, that's into the manifestation of empowerment. That's into the, after we've got your roots down and you're ready to grow some branches out, you know, you're ready to reach out and grab, you know, what you want out of the air. And when I say out of the air, I'm not talking about, oh, you just blink your eyes and there it is.
One day soon we'll do that.
I'm working on that one.
I'm working. I'd be happy to do it. Here's an example. When I travel, I need a good, sturdy vehicle, and I normally needed a large hauling space. And I wanted a minivan. I figured, you know, a nice minivan, and I really, really liked the one my friend had. So I'm helping her for a little while, and she decides she's getting a new minivan. So she has the minivan, and she says, yeah, I'm going to let such and such use it. I said, okay, after you're done, I want it. It'll be mine. And so we go on about 6 months, and she calls me one day and says, do you really want the minivan? And I said, yeah, I'd love to have the minivan, but I can't buy it right now. And she's like, no problem. Come down, I'll sign it over to you.
Yes.
Wow.
You know, that's pure manifestation because
Yes.
in the back of my mind, one, I want that minivan.
Yeah.
I have that minivan. And, you know, and just holding the energy of not questioning, would I get the minivan? Would I like the minivan? And the minivan, I love. It's the most best vehicle for me, you know, this weekend because, you know, as you can see, I've gotten a lovely sunburn. I was able to haul all the stuff I wanted to for my garden in it. It was no 50 trips to the store to get what I needed. And that's the stuff I envisioned me doing with the minivan, you know, traveling. Oh, I got to put big tents in there, and you know, when I was loading my Buick that I drive for when I'm not taking the whole entourage with me, you know, I would think, you know, it's going to be so much easier to get these tents to fit into the van. It's going to be so much easier to get the, you know, the suitcases that I bring that have all my wares in them. It'll be so much easier to get all this put into the van, into a van. So that's how you want to talk. That's how you want to believe. That's what you want to spend your energy on when you're trying to manifest something. But when you're looking at empowerment, it's not about bringing something to you. It's about you raising yourself up to catch it.
Right, to feel like what I'm not hearing you say, which is so cool, is how it was going to happen. You said, I will it. You know?
Yes.
So it's going to be. You didn't say, am I going to have to brainwash her? Am I going to have to give a bunch of hints? Am I going to have to buy flowers for her? Am I going to have to, you know, make her get on her good side? Am I going to have to do all these things? And you know, I don't know if the universe really hears me. Or am I going to have to light a bunch of candles, or should I do it? You know, something else. You just said, "Oh,
Yes.
This is happening. This is the way it's going to be."
Right, and I didn't even focus on that specific minivan. All I focused on was a minivan.
The comfort, yeah.
The comfort of the van, how it was, how, you know, it felt to drive.
Yes.
You know, for me, you know, and it was not that van because, you know, she had uses for her van. I wasn't going after her van. I was going after a minivan. You know, I never thought that she would actually cough it back up and, you know, turn back around and go, oh, by the way, do you want the van?
Yeah.
What do you mean, do I want the van? Of course I want the van. And I never thought of it coming to me as it was. You know, as, you know, here's the van.
You know, it's interesting. The universe gives. The universe gives. There's a story about the guy in the boat. There was a flood, and he begged God to help him, and they drove by to come on, and he said, no, I'm waiting for God. Do you know that story? I'm waiting for God to save me. And then the water came in, and the boat came by, and he said, no, I'm waiting for God to save me. Got on the roof, and they sent an helicopter. No, I'm waiting for God to save me. He dies. He goes to heaven, and he says, God, you know, I'm mad at you. God said, what's up? He said, you were supposed to save me. And God says, well, I don't know about the truck and the boat and the helicopter, you know. So we all want, a lot of us need to be in control of how spirit works. And when we have that need to be in control of how spirit works, it means that we are not feeling empowered within ourselves. When we try to control our world, it means that we feel out of control of our own lives. And when you've actually stepped into yourself and settled in. So Aeson, in manifesting, used the feeling realm. He knew how having that van was going to feel.
There it
That's
is.
all that's required. It is the emotional self, the feeling self that actually becomes, gosh, they just showed me a frog with a sticky tongue grabbing a fly. It's the feeling. That's the end of that sticky tongue that grabs what you want and brings
That's a
it to you.
laser target to the result. That's
So, yes.
knows where that fly is, and it's gonna grab it.
Grab it. That's right. And the fly's moving around like crazy. It's a moving target, and that's basically it. Once you have that emotional connection to the thing you desire, then it's there. It's right there for you. Sometimes we have to wait because all the planets have to line up where spirit's concerned. There's another aspect to this, which if there's time we'll go into. But because each of us came here to work through a certain timetable. I firmly believe that because I've been in it. And the empowerment part is to recognize that we're here working at a certain timetable, so it's like if you want something, be aware that the thing you want is coming to you. So decide it's coming to you. And when you make that decision, then you let go. Because if you push too hard, you'll overshoot it. And then you'll have to trudge your way all the way back to get it. And then, and then you say, oh, yeah, I saw that 6 years ago. Or even in relationships. You know how many people meet the soulmate person, overshoot them, hit somebody up there and come back down and say, yeah, I knew you 3 years ago. So we need to empower ourselves. We need to pull back and be like the frog sitting on the rock, not moving, just waiting to, right?
I think it's like any kind of learning any other kind of skill. I think especially we as women do this. We second guess ourselves too often. We get that still small voice. We get that intuitive word. We get that message from spirit that says, do this, don't do that, don't talk to this one, don't talk to that one, stay home, don't get on the plane, whatever it is. Then we say, oh, but I don't know, that's just my imagination. Imagination creates everything. Don't you think that's important to listen to your imagination when you think about it that way? So we have to learn, though. We have to learn to listen to ourselves like that.
Yeah, to trust ourselves.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
And that's a principle of empowerment, is learning to trust yourself, trust your instincts, trust your decisions. You have to learn that you are the one that takes care of you best. Your happiness isn't dependent on someone else. It isn't dependent on if your boss likes you, if your friends like you, if your mother likes you, if you kept your boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other happy that day, if they've called you. That has nothing to do with your happiness.
Thank you.
What has to do with your happiness is you. Did you have a good day? Were you happy with yourself? Because that's part of that taking back that empowerment and taking back yourself is going, I enjoy gardening. I'm going to go garden today. Man the phones, close the office, I'm gone, just deal with it. And running out and having that trust in you to say, you know what, you deserve that. You've earned that. You're good at that. Go do it. And I think that I see a lot of people that have lost that trust to know that who they are, what they enjoy. I think people forget to ask themselves, what are you doing? What are you doing? I find Mirror Talk, which Louise Hayes first wrote about back in the late, I want to say early 80s. Mirror Talk, so useful, and that's standing in front of a mirror and having that conversation. What are you doing? What have you done today to make yourself happy? What are you sending out to the universe? Because if you're Mr. or Mrs. Miserable, the universe ain't going to come and bring you extra coffee to your table.
That's for sure.
Yes, that's true.
And you can prove it to yourself. You can walk into a room and be completely miserable. Just that we've all done it. I'm a Capricorn. I'm very moody. I'll walk into a room and just be not even realize that I look like I lost my best friend or something, and nobody will talk to you. And you wonder, well, why won't anybody talk to me? It's because that's the energy you're putting out. That's the aura and the visage that you're putting out there. And you don't even realize it. But the second you start smiling and look people in the eye, whether you feel like it or not, that does two things. It draws the positive interaction to you, and it changes how you feel. And it changes everything else. So it does all come back to us. Everything is our responsibility, like in that way.
Exactly. And when you're working on this, you need to also look at how you adorn yourself. Here's a fact. You can wear jogging pants and a sloppy t-shirt that should not even be used for a dust rag into a store, and people will not pay attention to you. But if you put on those business clothes of the job you're wanting, then you're able to go in there and be in that position of wanting the job or wanting the position, and people treat you as if you already have it. Don't believe me? Go to the Goodwill. Get you a set of nurses scrubs, because they're like $1.50, $2.50. Put them on. Go grocery shopping. See how many people walk away from you so that you can get through the store because they think you're done with your day's work.
Right. Because we're human beings, we make immediate judgments. We make subconscious judgments and have an impression. Our subconscious, science has proven that our subconscious notices things and makes judgments about things 3 seconds into the future before we even say it with our mouth, or before we even say, oh, well, you're a doctor or you're a nurse, What is that we all have that precognition and that prejudgment. That's why our instincts are so important. That's what they are. They're to tell us whether something is safe or not, whether something is worth our investing our time or our energy in or not. But now most of us are confused. We don't know, how to make those judgments, or we second guess ourselves all the time. So you're absolutely right, Aeson. The first thing somebody's going to think is what they see, and that's the first impression they're going to have of you, and of who you are and what you can do. There's a million judgments made about you before anyone ever says, hello, my name is. And so after that, it does matter. It does matter what, not just what you feel and think, but what you look like too. What is the story about there's a preacher, a minister, who sat outside of his church dressed like a dirty homeless man for I don't know for sure if it was hours or days. But he sat right outside the front door of his church and watched most of his congregation walk by him and completely ignore him. When what anybody should have done is stop and say, how can I help you? Or something to that effect. God loves you, please come inside, or something. Not even realizing it was their own pastor. Because they thought the wrong things.
Right. And see,
no, I was just gonna, I'm a little bit of a rebel, and I challenge the what you look like concept, because if I put some makeup on and do my hair and all this stuff, I can put Halle Berry to shame. But it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And, my friends tell me, why don't you put more makeup on? Why don't you do this and that? Because sex sells. And I want the honest person to come to me. That's kind of, I think the preacher was trying to get the congregation to look beyond the package. At Christmas time, nowadays everything is packed up in fancy packages and wrapped up with pretty bows, and people think the one that's most beautifully wrapped is the best present in all, and then not realizing that it's the one that's wrapped in plain brown paper, tied up with sisal string, that has the thing that they want the most. And our society have reached a place where celebritydom and Hollywoodness. I know those aren't really words, but we'll create them for now. That's the important. That's what makes you important. So, you know, they keep name dropping and they keep trying to be like such and such. You go to some places and you meet 6 women and they all look the same, you know, and everybody's trying to look like everyone else. Everybody's paying attention to the package. And I made a strong decision that I wasn't going to do the package thing. I think I'm pretty gorgeous and amazing and wonderful on my own, just like that, without the fact. In the brown paper wrapped up with sisal, I'm a not bad looking energy. But for me, I prefer to exude the energy that I am. When a person comes to me, and I've had many people in my experience who've come to me and say, oh, don't talk, stay away from that person and don't talk to that person. But I choose to make my own decisions about the individuals that I meet because I see your soul. I see and it gets me into trouble a lot, and that's okay, because if we want to call ourselves highly evolved beings, we have to get beyond the package, the human physical package, because there are lots of people out there right now who don't appear or behave in that expectation. Do you know what I mean?
I think what you're talking about is authenticity.
Yeah.
And I think that for a lot of people, they don't know what that means. And if you are being your authentic self as you are, and you are self-aware, and you are empowered, then you can do those things. You can either, you know, you're going to give off the same impression no matter what you're wearing or not wearing, as the case may be. Is, you know, the same kind of energy and aura. It's not about being a fake. It's not about putting on an image, you know. So there's a lot of, I love what you said about that, but I also think that if you are self-aware and you are empowered, you're not going to want to go to a job interview in pajamas that you got out of the bin and just put a coat over it or something. You know, you're not going to want to.
No, I mean,
want to be.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a sensible thing if the job does not if the job requires you to wear pajamas, and it makes sense to go to the interview in pajamas.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I think it's about the appropriateness for the specific event, right? I think when a person is empowered, they can wear a brown paper bag and people will be drawn to them.
I would
Don't
agree.
you think so?
That exact same thing happened. If you could think about that character on the Gong Show, remember all those years ago, that wore a bag on his head and he was a comedian? I can't think of his. Do you remember that?
I know the Gong Show. I can't remember what his name was. Yeah.
Oh my God, the unknown comedian, I think he was known as. He was called. He wore a bag on his head, and he was famous for about 3 years.
Yeah.
But charismatic, yes, that makes your point, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got another question in the chat room, and I'm going to try to clarify this as much as possible. If you are confident in yourself, and someone else is confident in themselves, but they also sometimes try to change you by using their beliefs of themselves or empowerments to change or make you like them. How do you handle that without getting frustrated?
Let me tell you this, darling. The person who's trying to change you, as much as they may appear to be confident, they are not. Because if a person is trying to change you, it means they're trying to change something within themselves. So they have no confidence. They may appear to be confident, but when you're confident, you actually allow. It's like having a field full of daisies. All the daisies know that they're gorgeous. One daisy doesn't turn to the other daisy and say, well, you're missing a leaf. You really need to get that going, right? They never do that. So a confident individual will never try to shift you, change you, move you, any of that. Reza?
Well said, well said. And there are also people that I call fundamentalists, and not just religious fundamentalists, but they're just so passionate and convinced, and you can be very certain, you can be full of conviction and be very wrong at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can, the way to handle that, if someone is just determined to be a fundamentalist with you, is to simply just listen and understand that that's where they are. If they go chasing you around the block after you say thank you, that was very interesting, and God bless, and we'll get together again some other time, that's another matter. But there's no point in trying to argue with them or saying, well, I have a different belief or a different point of view. It's like it's kind of like trying to have a rational conversation with a drunk person. It's not going to work. You're not going to get anything out of it.
Yeah.
So they need to, they'll say what they want to say, no matter whether you want them to or not. So unless you can just let them or just be gentle with them and say, okay, great, have a nice day.
Or it doesn't work for me. That's my favorite statement.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for me, and there's nothing they can do because it doesn't work for me.
Right. They can't fight that. You can't fight that.
That's right.
Right. And, for me, when someone comes against, the list principle of, I am A, B, and C, and they go, well, no, you're not. You don't look the part. You're not 5'2" 120 pounds and, built like a hourglass. And, I look at them as if they just told me the world is flat and the sky is purple. And that's the way I see it. It's like, whatever, because I know who I am, and you know who you are, and the world is round.
And how's that working out for you?
And the sky is not blue, it is not purple, it is actually clear, and we get a reflection. So go back to your science book. I don't let that affect me, because when you're in that confident state, nobody can affect you in that confident state, because you know you. Mm-hmm. And you've got your mindset into, this is the way I am. Mm-hmm. This is what I do. Mm-hmm. This is how I am. It's kind of like if you ask someone how to boil water, they'll look at you as if you lost your mind, because it's like you put water in a pot. It's that concrete to you. It has to be that concrete when you get into your state of empowerment. When you build that confidence up, it has to be that direct, that focus, that unquestioning. It's there.
Yeah, and I talk about like attracts like. I'm going to ask this listener to check next week and see. Every time you question whether you're doing it right, whether you've got it right, that person is going to show up and actually ask the question out loud. So the moment we have a negative thought, someone will actually show up and mirror it back to us. And so you just basically say, thank you very much for noticing. Thank you for your guidance. I will look into it. And that's it. And just keep walking. They're content because they figure they've changed you, and you've got them off your back. And that's it.
Yeah. And maybe the thing that you're resisting, you're supposed to look at. That was the hard one for me to really just be aware of and admit, you're offending me. Well, maybe you're bugging me, or you're bringing negativity into my life. Well, why am I feeling like that? Mm-hmm. Why do I think that? Mm-hmm. Why am I all of a sudden becoming this offended person? What is it in my mind, in my experience? It's making me,
it's about me. Yeah, mm-hmm. Going back to the center.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
No, it isn't. It isn't easy, and when you're, discovering that about yourself, it is very hard to get into that point of being able to look at people and go, whatever, I know who I am. Have a good day, and you're going to get those challenges. You're going to get it's like being on a diet or trying to lose weight. Yeah. You're going to gain back those 2 pounds that you lost last week, and maybe one with it. But you know what? Next week you lose 5. And you get stronger, your roots get deeper in you, they get bigger, and they're able to be a lot more focused. And then you're able to move forward. All right, guys, we're kind of getting at the top of the hour here. Let's start doing our wrap-ups.
Yes.
I will be on at Wednesday night on the Psychic Coffee Shop. I think Rain Love's joining me. And I think we're going to have a new healer class, new healing modality coming. And, we're going to be discussing that. And, of course, I'm going to be on Psychic.biz, my normal 12 to 6. And if I'm not on the air, 9 to 2. And myself still on for 99 cents a minute till the end of the month, and then it's going back up. So, Miss Raz, what's
Yes.
going on with you this week?
Well, you can find me on Psychic.biz usually from about 2 p.m. in the afternoon until 6, and then later on evening hours, kind of at random because I work more than one place, like most of us do. But you can find me there. And this Friday night, Radio Tarot, Blog Talk Radio, 9 p.m. Eastern. Is that what we said? 9 p.m. Eastern, right?
9 p.m.
9
Eastern
p.m. Eastern.
On the Psychic Coffee Shop radio channel.
Right, on the Psychic Coffee Shop radio channel. I cannot wait. And you can ask me free questions. We'll talk about the law of attraction. We'll talk about more stuff that we talked about today. And boy, that's prominent on my mind, and I'm so excited. I can't wait till Friday. It's almost here, and I can't wait to see you all there. So, thank you so much. I have immensely enjoyed. It's been an honor to spend time with you two tonight. Thank you so much.
Oh, yes, it's been wonderful. I love your energy, sweetie.
I love you. See you online.
Yeah, I think you're going to run. Yes. And I'm Sonia Nadina Haynes. As I expressed myself before, on Sundays I have Change Your Mind, Shift Your Life Talk Radio. It's half an hour, and I'm going to be on the coffee shop as well, the Psychic Coffee Shop, running a 1-hour show. I'm thinking, I just heard Oracle Speaks. So if that works out, I'm going to be there. So, yes, I'm going to sign off, and I'm on Psychic.biz, but I don't know where I am.
Honey, you're on Psychic.biz, and, you're also going to be over on the Psychic Coffee Shop. Now, what are you doing this Sunday? Because you're not going to be on air this Sunday. Where are you going to be at?
Oh, yes. I will be. I'll have a booth at the Kingston, Ontario, Canada, Pride Parade. I am so excited. It's my first outdoor event. So I'm going to bring my books, do some readings. I'm going to support those guys. I just think it's going to be spectacular. I'm really looking forward to that. And then the following Friday, then I will start with the Psychic Coffee Shop, and then the Sunday I'll do my Change Your Mind, Shift Your Life Talk Radio. Boy, I'm all over the place.
Exactly. And, guys, we're also going to be uploading this to Blog Talk, so you'll be able to listen to it there. Now, all our shows are going to be that are on the Psychic Coffee Shop channel are available to you by your iTunes. So you can be taking us everywhere with you. Everything gets archived there. It takes about a week and a half to get it transferred over. So if you guys miss us, not a problem. We're here on YouTube, we're on SoundCloud, and we will be on iTunes and Blog Talk. So there's 4 different ways to hear our shows. And, we've now released a new coupon code. Psychic.biz's new coupon code is Spring16.
Is it spring or summer?
Summer 16, honey. You're right.
Okay, 16. Yeah. Just to make sure I got it. That's okay. That works just fine. So summer 16. So basically, when you sign up, you get free $5. Is that it?
Yep.
With the summer 16.
Yep.
Yeah. And so that's going to be pretty exciting. I am on Psychic.biz off and on, but I am for phone calls, so people can always phone me and chat with me pretty much at any time, and I'll be there.
And I think that and I do phone calls and chat. You can reach me for video readings, but those are by appointment only because I'm not always in my office that has the video camera. So, but we're here, we're around. Next week, I think we'll talk about self-communication and how you talk to yourself. What do you think about that?
That's a big one. Yes. Absolutely, because it actually helps with your personal empowerment. So that's a great topic.
Yes, so we'll see you guys next week talking about how you talk to yourself and what you're actually causing.
Yes.
So until next week, good night,
Stay
all.
powerful. Good
Stay
night.
powerful.
Bye.